talk about Kansas State going to Iowa State, and making it making it a game late, I guess. But Iowa State, pulling away, having just a great season, finding their way into the Big 12 championship. Um, we both picked Kansas State in the situation. I thought that Kansas State was going to get them on the ground. I remember you told me off air that you took some DJ Giddens props, as because of that, and I don't blame you at all. I thought that this game was going to be a lot of Kansas State football on the ground, dominating the time of possession, retaining the football, and yeah, it just did not happen that way. And Iowa State finds himself in the Big 12 championship, potentially to win their first Big 12 championship.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, ton of credit to Matt Campbell. This is their first 10-win season. Like you said, first chance to win the Big 12. Incredible at home rivalry game. It was awesome. So happy for them. They capitalized on mistakes that Kansas made. I talked about it, and this is why I felt good taking Kansas State. Yes, I mentioned the running, but also I thought Kansas State, when they take care of the football, they're a really good football team, and they did not. First fucking play of offense. Excuse my language here. First play of offense, right? Whatever it was. Second, like you're the weird, speed option fumble, whatever it was, right? It was just terrible. And all of a sudden, 6 plays later, Iowa State's in the end zone, and then you're playing catch up, which is not where Kansas State wants to be, right? You only punted a couple times throughout the game because you had turnover on downs. I think 3 of them. You had the safety, which was, obviously a tough spot there. You had to make a play, but still not ideal. And then obviously the missed field goal, a couple fumbles actually too. See that one and then one later as well. Yeah, this is brutal. And for Kansas State, this kind of has been the trend all year in terms of shooting yourself in the foot, especially in a conference where you are probably more talented than most teams you play significantly. And you end the season 1-3 in November there. Yeah, that's kind of brutal. That is absolutely brutal there. Not the finish that they wanted, because they did have a chance to go to the playoffs. They did have a chance to win the Big 12. And obviously, this is not ideal here, but hats off to Iowa State. They get a huge win there. Rocco Becht, I thought, was efficient at times. Obviously, the numbers don't look great, but I thought what he did on third down, finding guys, what he did, rolling out of the pocket, even stepping up and running, getting a couple first downs was huge for them. Obviously, the touchdown was big, but this is an interesting team. I think Arizona State's probably matches up pretty well against them, but Iowa State, I mean, they beat Iowa, right? You have a couple pretty damn good wins. Baylor, um, you know, Kansas State as well. So there's some nice wins on this resume for Iowa State, and obviously a 10-2 season is unbelievable. Very nice for them. Happy to see them rewarded and have a chance to win the Big 12.
Yeah, and there were like good wins on here too. I mean, you didn't have to play Colorado, okay, but big whoop, whatever. But Iowa, that comeback win, that was a big win. Baylor ended up being a good win, and they dominated Baylor. Now I know that was a different Baylor team than we saw, but coming back against UCF, which was kind of a big deal because then you wouldn't be playing in the Big 12 championship if you didn't find a way to win that game that you probably could have definitely lost. So yeah, run defense was a problem, but finding a way, like you said, to convert those third downs, those big ones when you needed them. Not that it was perfect, and then also Kansas State going 1 for 4 on fourth down conversions, and then also having your 2 fumbles, and that it's just not a recipe to win a football game. Definitely could have won this football game for sure, but it'll be interesting to see Avery Johnson's future at Kansas State. Obviously, he's the guy moving forward, but I mean, like, he's got to get better throwing the football. He really does.
And take care of it too. And also for Iowa State here, when I look at the scoreboard here, the box score, and I see 40 plus rushing attempts, I love that. I've talked about Rocco Becht. I've talked about Higgins and Noel. Those are very good football players. But when this team is at its best, I've repeated this all year long. It's when they commit to running the football. Abu Sama had 15 plus carries, averaged almost 5.5 yards per carry. Carson Hansen, 13 more carries, 4.5 yards per carry. Those are what you need to win in close games like this against teams that are pretty darn good. And you're a team that was supposed to get gashed on the ground, and all of a sudden you're doing it back to Kansas State, keeping drives alive, because you had better third down percentage than Kansas State, although it wasn't great, but a little bit better. Yeah, it's big. It's big. And yeah, happy for Iowa State here.